Hi, my name is Rebecca Flanders, and this is my third and final video of a three-part video series about music therapy. In my first video, I talked about what music therapy is, what music therapists do, and something that I found interesting about it. In my second video, I talked specifically about what a session might look like for a person with depression, anxiety, and that was just like a rough overview of it. And this video is going to be kind of the same idea as my second video. I'm just going to be talking about autism and some of the things a music therapist might do to help a patient with autism. So many times what you'll find with children and adults with autism is they have a very hard time with communication. Their communication skills are very low. Sometimes they can be nonverbal at all, or sometimes they can have a little more understanding of it. And so basically what's happening there is they have a hard time hearing words and interpreting them as something with meaning. And so basically what they're hearing is just like sound that has no actual meaning to them. So when starting a session with a person with autism, again, you want to use the ISO principle, which is just starting at where they're at a comfortable level. So, you could be going for a couple different goals, like increasing the attention span, trying to work on their language skills, ability to follow directions, trying to increase their socialization skills. But right now we're going to talk about their communication skills. And you want to always make sure that, you start out with that ISO principle so you can create that bond and that ever important connection so that they feel comfortable with working with you. And so some things you could do is like musical improvisation with instruments. Say if they're non-communicative individuals, you could at first let them choose the instrument. You don't want to force them. No is always an appropriate answer if they don't feel comfortable with doing something with you. And so you want to give them that choice, give them as much options as you can. And so if they choose a drum, I could start out by tapping a beat, or they could start out by tapping a beat, or they could just be playing, and then maybe I try to join them, tapping a beat with them, kind of maybe similar to what they're doing, so that in that way we can start doing like a call and response type of thing where we really start talking basically through the instrument and creating a dialogue and connecting in that manner. So another example to really help work on those communication skills would be like you could play a song, one they're pretty familiar with so they can know the words, and I start singing and playing, and then what I do is I drop out a word and then they can fill it in. And so I will give you a little example of what that might look like. And so this song is just going to be a version of Let's Call the Whole Thing Off by Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. You say, and I say, hi there. You say, and I say, neither, neither. Let's call the whole thing off. So in those spaces, they could just, fill in those words, and that'll really help with their confidence and their communication skills. And so a couple other examples, like working on socializations and like sharing. If you're like in a group drum circle, you could work on their sharing and they're taking turns. So like, that just looks like passing around a drum, and so they can learn that patience and sharing in a social setting. Another exercise could be simply you listen to a song or you play a song for them, and you're asking them afterwards, maybe you ask them, how do you think that song may sound to someone else? And it really allows them to start thinking about things from someone else's point of view and trying to find a meaning and interpret songs to be able to understand other people's emotions. Um, and so those were just a few examples and techniques that could be used on a person with autism or is on the autistic spectrum. Thank you.